Hello again, I am Blunty. I've talked about the subject briefly before when I was doing a little video about this little Razer keyboard key switch keycap demo thingy that I picked up at a show booth. Some of you might have said I made a little video saying this was the best thing ever invented because it's just really satisfying to play with because it's got that wonderful mechanical key switch in there and lights up and everything. So you just wander around in your hand clicking this thing. Some of you out there might be a habitual pen clicker kind of person. I also often just fiddle with a coin. Just, turning it over in my hand, even as I'm walking down the street. Australian 20-cent piece is my preference for coins for doing that with. It's a perfect size and weight for doing that with. It's calming. I like to fiddle. Maybe it's because I used to be a smoker and I've still got that sort of need to have something in my hand constantly. Other things I enjoy fiddling with besides the keyboard tester thingy and a pen and a coin include the metal tin that my favorite kind of mint comes in. Very satisfying. Clicky. Yes. 20-sided die. I love that. Lots of little angles and things to roll about in your hand. Very satisfying. My little knife that I keep by my side for, opening boxes and stuff. Very satisfying. Sort of a clicky, latchy thing. Also recommended grow a beard if you enjoy fiddling because, yeah, you can fiddle with your beard hair, I guess. Because then you can thoughtfully stroke your beard and it makes you look smarter. You can also puppeteer yourself. Once upon a time, many years back, when I was sort of sitting at my drawing table, I used to draw comics for those who don't know. Sitting at my drawing table, I used to have a hacky sack. I never played hacky sack. I don't think I ever kicked the thing in my life, but it was tactically pleasant to fiddle with in my hand. Kind of like how a stress ball is, but I like hacky sacks better because they have that sort of crocheted cover over them. They're filled with those little beans and stuff. They had a nice weight to them, and they were squishy and stuff. And I was screwing with that thing constantly when I was drawing. And now I've been sent one of these things, which is designed to satisfy that sort of fiddly need. Same kind of way as clicky pens and keycaps and stuff like that. And this is what they call a fidget spinner, which is just kind of, well, it's a fad right now. That's what it is. It's a fad. These are sort of taking off as the new wonderful little fiddly desktop toy kind of fidget thing. It is basically not much more than a sort of bearing in the middle with some weights around it, and you get these, like this one in a 3-loop configuration. You also get 2-loop configuration ones. And I thought they were a bit silly to this point, to be completely honest with you. I've seen sort of these mentioned on various websites and stuff that pop on my newsfeed from time to time, and on 3D printing sites. There are people who are sort of 3D printing their own fidget spinners, which I think is where I first came across them when I was doing some 3D printing researching. And I thought they were ridiculous. Like, I was thinking, just how can this possibly be of any interest to anybody? But then this was sent to me for review, and I kind of get it now. Now, specifically, this is called the Halo Spinner, labeled on its Amazon page as a premium quality anti-anxiety, that's right, anti-anxiety stress reducer. And they also recommend it as good for alleviating the symptoms of ADHD, which is not one of the many things that is wrong with my brain, so I can't speak to that. But if you are ADHD out there and you have experience with spinners, please feel free to chime in the down below area. It comes in actually quite a nicely presented little box, and it even has its own little pouch and all. It's built around a friction-resistant bearing, which does indeed have a pretty good spin time. This is the first such device I've ever used, much less reviewed, so I have no basis for comparison for spin time, whether this is good or not good or in the middle somewhere. I suspect it might be in the middle somewhere, because I do feel like the spin time could be longer and smoother if this thing was manufactured to tighter tolerances, because when it's spinning, I can feel a very slight vibration. I don't know how well this will show up on camera, but I'll try and get a shot of it. If you look near the hub, you can actually see a slight wobble to it. It doesn't spin perfectly symmetrically, I guess. It's slightly, very slightly off balance, and you can feel that as you're using it. I'm not sure whether that's by design, so you have sort of tactile vibration going through, or it's just a variance in manufacturing, because it is just injection molded plastic. Speaking of which, the injection molded plastic is not perfect. There is a little tab, or what do they call it? Spur. I think the model makers call that. A little spur of plastic that's left behind there. You can feel it, you can see it quite easily. It hasn't been cleaned up properly. But yeah, that slight imperfection, of course, causing a vibration and a bit of a noise. I don't know whether you can hear that. I mean, you can obviously hear it go shh, because the bearings make noise when they spin, even though it is a low friction bearing. Of course, you can still hear it. I do also feel like the grip points, little pads on either side where you put your fingers to spin this thing, I feel like they could have been better served if they were, like had a texture on them, or rubber coating, or were concave perhaps. It would have been nicer. These are perfectly flat, and I feel like it might be a more tactically satisfying experience if they were something else but pure flat disc. But all in all, the product does feel reasonably high quality. It is, in fact, very, very satisfying. I've played with this thing for literally a couple of hours on end. I watched like 3 episodes of Stargate the other night, and I had this thing in my hand the entire time, just idly spinning it around and just turning it in my hand and feeling the centrifugal force. Point is, it is satisfying to just sort of play with it, and it is certainly less annoying to your co-workers or people around you in the cafe or on public transport than doing this, because this makes far less noise and is, you know, as equally as satisfying as the clicky pen sort of habit while you're sitting at your desk. You've got something to fiddle with in your hand. You can feel it's tactile, it's moving, it's making a slight noise. You can, like I said, I've been idly fiddling with this thing for up to hours on end while just watching some TV, or when I'm sitting at my desk trying to think about what I'm going to do next when I'm writing a script for a video or editing or something. I can't sort of figure out what I want to do, and I sort of play with this. Spin it, stop it, let it spin down, and you know, transfer between your hands and stuff. It's just, it's a fiddle toy. It's designed to let you fiddle, and it does that job really quite well. So yeah, I think I'm going to sort of keep my eye on this weird little fad item for some time. I do quite find them very pleasant. I'm not sure whether I would be prepared to pay the $35 asking price for this little hunk of plastic with some bearings in it. I don't know whether it's $35 worth of value, to be honest. That said, though, there are enthusiast level, I suppose, because there are spinner enthusiasts out there, believe it or not. There's enthusiasts for anything. Spinner enthusiasts out there who love the sort of super premium high quality ones made of like brass and titanium, all that sort of stuff. And I imagine that something with that much weight behind it, of course, that will help it spin for longer, because you know, that's the way physics works, but also something made out of that sort of premium end material with that sort of weight behind it. If you do really, really, really enjoy these things, I suppose it might be worth investing in a triple-digit price tag, by the way, for the super-duper premium level metal ones and everything. But for the rest of us, I don't know, $35 for a little desk toy that is kind of satisfying. I mean, not much can go wrong with it. I suppose the bearing could get balked up from time to time, but you can actually pull these. Oops, I've dropped it. Lost the cap forever. You can actually pull the caps off and get to the bearing inside. So I don't know how easy that would be to replace, but you could at least clean it and oil it up and something, I suppose. But yeah, that's you know, there's only one moving part, so it's probably going to last for quite some time. But yeah, there you go. That's one of the more unique products I've ever reviewed. I've reviewed some bizarre stuff in my time here on YouTube from time to time. I've reviewed underwear at one point. I reviewed one of those Japanese anime body pillows relatively recently, and now spinner fidget things. So yeah, chime in the down below area if you are a spinner enthusiast, and what sort of things I should look for in a decent spinner. Or indeed, if some other spinner company decides to send me theirs for a review, because like I said, it is a fad at the moment, and I have got a couple of reviews about these things in the past, but this is the only one I've accepted so far. What should I look for? How should I review these things? Am I missing something out here? I've talked about spin time and quality of the materials, how it feels, if there's a wobble in it. I don't know. Thanks for watching. I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time.